Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Anthony Olascuaga is an American fighter. He's from LA, but he's made his home in Japan. And in fact, he's become a world champion in Japan and has defended his title on several occasions. Now, he's only had 10 fights, 9 wins with 6 KOs, 1 defeat. But the defeat was where this Japanese gig started for Olascuaga, because he lost in 9 rounds, a technical knockout for the WBC light flyweight title to Kenshiro Teraji. And there's no shame in that, especially as at the time Olascuaga had only had about 5 fights. He then carried on, because he put up such a good performance. It was a very good fight, he then carried on. He's in Japan. He beat Riku Kano for the WBO flyweight title. And he's made a couple of defenses, and the latest one was against another Japanese fighter, Hiroto Kyoguchi, who himself is a former 2-weight world champ, IBF minimum weight and I think it's WBA light flyweight. So Kyoguchi was looking to become a 3-weight world champ. He didn't quite get over the line against Olascuaga. Olascuaga is 26, so he's probably in his prime now. Kyoguchi is 31 now, which 30 years ago might have been considered very, very old for a flyweight. Nowadays, you just never know, because look at the amazing boy, Teraji. He's 33. I know he looks like he's 11, but he's actually 33, and he's going strong, really strong. But in the case of Kyoguchi, there's no shame in losing to Olascuaga. He lost a unanimous decision over 12. I had it 117, 111, which kind of tells the story of the fight, really, because this was one of those fights where one guy looked like he was winning most of the rounds, but they were all competitive. And the rounds were actually most of them were a little bit repetitive, because one guy, in this case Olascuaga, just seemed to have a little bit more physical strength, power, was kind of punching first a bit more and punching last, whereas the other guy seemed to be doing his best, boxing quite well, but couldn't quite pinch that many rounds. But Kyoguchi now slips to 19 wins, 3 defeats. It's not a great deal of fights, is it? 22 fights. So he didn't look like a shot fighter, don't get me wrong. But he did look like someone who sort of cut his teeth in the lower weight, the really low weights. Olascuaga did look physically more imposing, and I got the feeling that both these guys are orthodox fighters, both boxers rather than come forward bangers. I got the feeling that the physical strength of Olascuaga did pay dividends. He shook Kyoguchi in the opening round. He didn't buzz him, but he landed a very good left hook, which knocked Kyoguchi off balance and sort of sent him staggering across the ring. That was in the first round. And that kind of indicated, wow, this guy's got some physical strength. Even though he's not hurting the guy, the weight of the punch is knocking him off balance. And there was always that kind of vibe to this fight, even though the rounds a lot of them were kind of similar. You just got the feeling one guy was a bit too big, a bit too powerful, a bit too young maybe for the other. But like I say, Olascuaga's only had 10 fights. Kyoguchi's only had 22 now, and he's been a 2-weight world champ. And Olascuaga is a world champ. So in this day and age, you don't really need that many fights to pick up these belts. I thought Olascuaga looked good. He did score a knockdown. What was it, the 10th round or something? I've seen him given, but it was a case of he landed a hook. Kyoguchi's one of his legs seemed to give way. There was a split-second delay, and then a leg gave way, and he fell over, and the ref counted it. I didn't think that was. I've seen him given, but a little bit harsh maybe on Kyoguchi. But Olascuaga, now that he's got that WBO belt, there's no doubt about it. He'll be looking for a rematch with the absolutely thrilling Kenshiro Teraji. Teraji had a fight with Saigo Yuri Akui, I think his name is, on the same bill. This is the 13th of March 2025 we're talking. And it was a thriller. Akui had nothing to be ashamed of. He got stopped in the last round, the 12th round against Taraji. But there's no doubt Olascuaga will be looking for a rematch. And that would be a good fight. Because Olascuaga, very, very inexperienced at the time when he took on Taraji, he gave him a good fight. And even though he got stopped in 9 rounds, I mean, it wasn't a... I mean, I thought that Taraji won most of the rounds, but I think probably Olascuaga kind of won over a lot of fans in Japan for the manner in which he hung tough, and despite only having a few fights, he gave Taraji a good row. I definitely think, especially now Taraji is 33 and Olascuaga's now, he's 26 now. Maybe, the levels are a little bit more even now. So I would definitely want to see a rematch, definitely. But there's no doubt that Olascuaga did win this fight against Kyoguchi. It was, like I say, it was competitive for periods, but there was only really one winner. I think one guy had it roughly the same. So I had it 117, 111. One guy had it like similar-ish, 117, 112, 170, 110, something like that. One guy had it 118, 109, which was a little bit unkind. What's that, 10-2 in rounds, including the knockdown. And another guy, the third one, had it too close, in my opinion, 114, 113 or something. Which I just thought, nah, I can't see it being that close. Anyway, if you can see this fight, you could do worse than to watch 12 rounds of these guys going at it. It wasn't a thrilling fight, but if you've got nothing better to do, have a look at it. If only to sort of see, compare and contrast Olascuaga with Taraji and see whether that gap has narrowed from their previous fight. But I do like these Japanese boxing cards. I absolutely love them. And I keep saying it, if you're not paying attention to Japanese boxing, you're missing out on so much great action. Really, really good quality cards. So go and have a look. Tell me what you think. Comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button. And thank you very much for your time. I always appreciate it. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Bye for now.